Welcome to our posts. Today we will see stories of entitled parents. My mom feels entitled to my inheritance money. She wants to use it to put a down payment on a house. I only found out about it 6 years later because I looked into a cabinet in our house and did some research. I am 24 years old woman found out earlier this year that I was supposed to receive around $160,000 in inheritance money when my father passed away. I found out by looking into a cabinet in our house. I was compelled to do so because my mother acts rich or poor whenever it suits her, plus other strange behavior. I found a letter that was addressed specifically to me from the life insurance company that had my inheritance. All I needed to do was submit some paperwork and they'd give me a check. I'm not sure how, but my mother somehow submitted documents for me and even cashed the check that was in my name. I'm also not sure why she felt entitled to it when she got $500,000 in inheritance herself. When I confronted her about it, she obviously did not take it well. She was very adamant that it's her money until I informed her that, after I found the documents, I called the life insurance company and received photocopies of the check, the submitted documents, etc. After I told her that, she tried negotiating with me, stating that she can give me $10,000 to start with, and then $2,000 every month. I said no. I said she will guilt me into delaying her payments if we go that route. She tells me she will be homeless if I get all the money at once. I eventually make her show me her bank statements. As far as I know, she has around $330,000. In addition, she's been making 6 figures with her job for the past 3 years. Homeless my butt. I told her I need a good amount of money if I want to have any chance of moving out. I wanted to move out with my friend, but my mom took way too long to give me any money. I received $50,000 from her. Like a week or so later, she started asking if she could borrow $20,000 for a month. She said she needs it in her bank account so that the lender can approve of the condo or house she wants to buy. She asked if I will be okay, and I stupidly told her that I'd be getting grants from school too. She then wanted to borrow $20,000 on top of the grant money by passive-aggressively mentioning it whenever she could. A few weeks later, she forced me to go with her to the bank to withdraw $20,000. This was on October 3rd. On November 23rd, I asked her to give me $2,000. I told her it's been almost 2 months and I want a portion of it back, via text. She gives me the silent treatment, in text and in person. The next day I try calling her. She starts crying hysterically, saying, 1. I knew I shouldn't have trusted you with money. 2. What are you doing? Drugs? 3. Are you gambling? 4. Why are you so mean? 5. You ruined my holiday. You've ruined my life. 6. You're abnormal. 7. You're just doing this because you're behind in your life and you're desperate. 8. You don't have utilities to pay for. 9. I spent so much money on food the past month. I'm not exaggerating when I say I've never told her to buy me food or make me food. But she always uses it as a form of guilt. A couple of days later, we have a 4-hour argument. During this argument, I was so disgusted with her behavior that I told her that I want nothing to do with her. A couple of days after that, to my surprise, she comes into my room and asks me to hug her. She starts crying and says that she just suppresses her thoughts and feelings. She says she'll give me $500 now and then $500 on December 22nd? What the hell? I swallowed my anger for a couple of days, but then I could no longer hold it in. I wasn't giving her the silent treatment, but I wasn't looking at her or initiating any form of talking. She notices this and starts asking what's wrong. She goes, "It's the money, isn't it?" and then repeats the same thing she did last time. Are you gambling? You have no utilities, etc. And again she made it very clear that she wants to buy a condo or a house, I just can't remember which. I told her I'm mad at her because you told me you needed $20,000 for a month. It's been over 2 months and now you're still not giving it. So you lied. After this, she started acting like she was about to cry, and then she left the house. She then transferred another $500. I haven't talked to her since. It infuriates me that she thinks she's entitled to this money. Why do you need a house? You're getting old and you're single. Secondly, not only was this money only in your account in the first place because you committed fraud, but now I let you borrow money, and you're going to treat it like it's an allowance? It's my money. Legally. Get over it. You already got $500,000 before you took my money. Since I was 18, I've been working minimum wage jobs. She's made it so clear as day that she thinks her needs are way above mine. I don't have utilities, I don't have a career yet, so I'm less important. Even if that's factually true, I'm your child and that money is legally mine. Also, I just want to share this example of her behavior that I just remembered. When I was 19, I was working at a tutoring place in addition to a restaurant, while taking 16 units in college, with no car. I was leaving the house one day to go get a haircut. My mom then asked me, "Where are you going?" I told her I'm going to get a haircut. She then says, verbatim, "Really? You're supposed to be using that money to help me." That's how entitled she is. Like OMG. At this point, she received $660,000, while her child, who is a full-time student with 2 jobs and no car, is not important enough to use the money they earn from their job to get a haircut. I'm so mad, and I just have a huge problem with getting this taken care of because I hate making people uncomfortable. This is also why I usually cannot blindside a person by randomly bringing an issue up. I usually have to text them first. But I'm starting to think that that's never a good idea. Ugh. Next story. My entitled parents want to go to my wedding after they disowned me last year. I'll keep this brief. About 10 years ago, my family did not respond well to me growing up. I'm talking arguments over my partner, career, and place of living. I almost got kicked out before graduation and was looking for homeless shelters at 20, instead of studying like every other young person my age. We go silent for 3 years and are at very low contact. We reconnect to moderate visits, and then due to issues with my sibling and the pandemic, a housing crisis, and medical problems, I get estranged from my sibling. My sibling had a surgery and got angry I wouldn't get them groceries in person. I was so sick I was only using Instacart to keep myself safe. The riff with sibling is the second time this has happened. My parents go nuclear and discuss disownment regularly. I tell them to knock it off or we won't speak. To my understanding, I am legally and financially disowned. I got engaged last year, to the partner my partners never liked. They want to gift money to control the ceremony and I tell them no. This starts another feud and they remind me I'm disowned. I go no contact. My parents occasionally reach out desperately wanting to go to my wedding. They are not invited, and we are too much on the rocks for me to entertain it. But also, why do they need to go if I'm disowned? Next story. You're too old to see Santa. Alrighty, little bit of background info. 1. I'm 20. 2. I'm Jewish. 3. I work in a toy store at my local mall. So the get your photo with Santa thing is right in front of the toy store at the mall I work at, which makes sense. Kids can look around while their parents wait in line, parents can look for present ideas while their kids wait in line, they can all come in together after getting their photos taken, etc. This happened today at around 11 a.m. I'd been working at the toy store, and my boss lets me know I can go on my break, so I do. I had about 30 minutes to kill and I wasn't particularly hungry, but when I walked by the Santa exhibit, I saw that there was almost no lineup because it was a weekday in the middle of the day, most kids are at school and most parents are working. So, since I'm an adult and don't celebrate Christmas, I thought a picture of me on Santa's lap would be a funny gift to give my family on Hanukkah when I'm home. So I get in line, there's one family who currently has their kid seeing Santa, one kid in front of me, and not long after our entitled mother, entitled father, and their kids. They were all very lovely at first, we made a bit of small talk while we waited, I asked their kids how excited they were to see Santa, etc. The family in front of me goes, and in hindsight I think the gears were starting to turn in the mother's head that I wasn't just an older sibling and was actually there for myself. The family in front of me leaves, I get to tell the patron saint of prostitutes, no seriously, look it up, what I want for the holiday I don't celebrate, and I get my pictures. Yes, I will include it in the comments. I go back to work and clock back in, because even without the lineup, just waiting for two families and getting the pictures printed and paid for took most of my lunch break, and a few minutes later the family from before comes in. The kids go off to look at toys, I give them a friendly little hi again. And I'm met with a very cold-hearted hello. From the mother. Our store wasn't very busy either given the day of the week and time of day, so while they browsed I was showing my coworkers and boss the pictures that I got for craps and giggles, and the mom stomps over like I just crap in her figgy pudding. Entitled mother, I'm sorry, I just think it's very rude and immature to keep my kids waiting longer just for a joke. Me, there was no wait, at least not to see Santa. Entitled mother, you're too old to believe in this crap. Keep in mind, her kids were the only kids in the store, and she was yelling. Me, I've never believed in it, I don't celebrate Christmas. A little quieter because I'm actually capable of being courteous. Entitled father, well that's a whole other reason why you shouldn't have been there. You're ruining it for everyone else. Me, well, it doesn't really matter, Santa says I'm on the nice list, and his word is law. I was very obviously screwing with them the whole time, it's a weird coping mechanism where I try to escape conflict by being funny. Entitled mother, well God says you're gonna burn in hell. Me, I'm Jewish, we don't have hell. This isn't entirely true I don't think, I'm not particularly religious but I know some sects of Judaism say we don't have a hell, others believe that it's more of a temporary thing where you spend time atoning and then get to go to heaven. I was just using the best comeback I could think of. My boss, alright, I'm gonna need you to leave if you're gonna keep harassing my employee. The kids came back to find their parents, one asked if they could have one of the candy canes we have on our checkout counter. The mom said no, I said they were free and to go ahead. Both kids took a candy cane because free candy totally outweighs their mother's word, which is actually kind of a scary thought without context. The mom stared daggers at me, called me a name that rhymes with bike as they left, and I just smirked and gave a very happy Merry Christmas. My boss and co-workers are still laughing about it with me as I write this. We call them Kanye's parents for, well, obvious reasons lol. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel or posts.